Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today's webinar is on how to use LawClerk for a real estate practice. I'm Kristin Tyler. I'm one of the co-founders of LawClerk. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm also an attorney. My background is working in estate planning and probate. And in that regard, I do collaborate with several of our real estate attorneys at my firm from time to time. So I'm not going to say that I'm a real estate lawyer. I probably could play one on TV if I had to, but nonetheless, I'm going to try and highlight some of the ways that we're seeing really successful attorneys all across the country succeed with delegating and implementing LawClerk into their firms. So going to kind of, as we wait for a few more people to log in and join us, I'll go ahead and queue up my screen share and we'll get our PowerPoint ready to go. So I hope you're having a good day so far. Hopefully, if you're like most real estate lawyers that I know, you are super busy right now. So I hope this is helpful for you. This is probably going to be about 20 minutes or less. If you have questions along the way, please drop those. I'd be happy to answer those as we go. And away we go. How to use LawClerk for real estate. Again, I'm Kristin Tyler, an attorney co-founder. There's my email address if you have any questions one-on-one. If you'd like to connect, my Twitter handle, I'd be happy to speak with you one-on-one about any questions that you may have. Hopefully, if you're here, you already know what LawClerk is. If not, or if someone's watching the replay on YouTube, in a nutshell, what we do at LawClerk is we help busy attorneys in all different practice areas connect with talented freelance lawyers on demand for either project-based work or our newly launched subscription program where you can collaborate with your top-rated freelance lawyer on a subscription basis for a set number of hours per month. If you want to know more about that, definitely check out our website. But we're having a ton of subscription orders related to real estate law. So that might be a good option for you if you feel like you could benefit from having someone else on your team on an ongoing regular basis to get to know your deals, know your clients, and work through that process with you. So keep that in mind. Okay. My guess is also that if you're here, you're very mindful and conscientious about what's the best use of your time. You realize that you only have 24 hours in a day, and there's probably things in your law firm that you did when you started the firm. If you're the founder, you probably were doing the marketing and answering the phones and doing the intake and the legal work too. But over time, it's not sustainable for you as the captain of your firm to continue doing all of those things. And so that's when you start thinking about various tech tools and human power tools to get work done and keep your firm growing and succeeding. And so I think LawClerk can be a really important time of that. Outsourcing is a great solution to any law firm any business really, looking to grow but keep overhead under control. In the current economic environment, there's still a lot of uncertainty. And for that reason, I'm talking to a lot of lawyers who are hesitant to make a full-time traditional hire, and they are instead turning to outsourcing, which again is a super smart move to get the help you need in a very flexible way, a very affordable way, so that you can flex up or down depending on your workflow and what comes ahead in the next months. Now, in terms of a law firm, and in specific, the type of legal work that typically a lawyer is doing, the sky is the limit with what you can outsource. We are seeing lawyers come on LawClerk and outsource, of course, research projects. The client comes to you with a weird question, you don't have time to dig into it, outsource it. Go task one of our talented freelance lawyers to dig through the case law, the statutes, and come up with a memo for you that you can present to the client to help answer their question. Of course, we're seeing people outsource and hire help to get assistance with drafting all sorts of legal documents, both transactional and, of course, litigation based. So we'll talk more about that later on. If you are a litigator, of course, we're seeing a ton of work get outsourced related to discovery. I don't know any lawyer that likes to do discovery. So that's a top candidate of something that you can and should outsource when you're getting busy and you're growing. We're also seeing a lot of lawyers turn to us to outsource different marketing aspects of their firm. Maybe you want to have some FAQs drafted for your website or for a handout. Maybe you want to have some help with blog articles on timely subjects. Really, the sky is the limit. There is no limit on the creativity that we see lawyers come up with every day on what they're outsourcing through the LawClerk platform. So whatever you have in mind, give it a try. Okay, how to get started? Well, if you don't already have a LawClerk account, certainly step one is create an account. It takes about 5 minutes and there's no sign-up fee and there's no monthly fee. So why not be a part of it just so that it's set up and ready to go for you when you need it? Once you sign up, you'll also want to take some time to visit our different resources on our attorney resource page. One of my favorites is our project delegation worksheet. If you have never had another attorney on your team, you might not be used to delegating that type of work to them. And our worksheet really guides you through the process and helps you think of the types of details you can and should provide to help give the freelancer the information they need to succeed and do the best possible job for you. And of course, then it's up to you to select a first project, post it, and get started. I like to say there's no time like the present. And, a lot of people ask us, they say, well, do lawyers typically pick an easy project for their first project or something more complicated? It's up to you. Yes, we see lawyers sometimes start out with easy research memos or deeds or simple agreements, whatnot. But we also see people come in with really complex documents, appellate briefs, etc. So we see the whole gamut of the spectrum of sophistication for first projects. So whatever has been sitting on your to-do list a little too long that you either don't have the time to work on or don't want to work on is a perfect candidate to delegate and outsource via LAWCLERK. So let's dig into now a few more specific real estate law projects, because I know that's what you want to see. Okay, real estate. So I tried to we see a lot of real estate work. We really do. And I think it's only going to keep growing in the months ahead. I'm recording this in January of 2021. And I think that there's going to be a lot of both residential and commercial disputes in the months ahead that you may need help with. So keep this in mind. Now, starting out on the more transactional side, also related to the marketing, I mentioned blog articles for your website. We are seeing attorneys post those as projects. So if you're coming in on the project-based side of the marketplace, not subscription, then for projects, you're setting a flat fee price per project. And we are seeing people pay anywhere from $150 to $500 for blog articles. Now, keep in mind, if they're paying $500, they're probably hiring the freelancer to do more than one article. It might be a series of 2 or 3 on a set number of topics, but that's a great way to help get some fresh content for your SEO and help attract new clients. We're also seeing people prepare opinion memos on leases, and this range 300 to 600. We are seeing people draft lease terminations or back rent payment agreements. Talk about timely with this economic environment. If you've got a client who has a tenant who owes them some back rent and they're working out a deal, you want to memorialize that. It's a great thing to outsource and have one of our freelancers draft that for you. And of course, we see a ton of work in the commercial area as well, purchase and sale agreements. One of my favorite ones that we had actually recently was a client who she's in-house for a small family-owned real estate company. And what she likes to do is once a new agreement or a lease or whatever is done, she has one of our freelancers go in and prepare a bullet point executive summary that she can present to her clients, to the family members that own the business. And it really helps them understand the high level key points of the deal without having to read through the actual document. I think that's a great idea of how to make your life easier, make your client's life easier, and get that work done. A few more examples on the transactional side. We've seen, of course, a lot of different leases for different types of deals. One that just came on recently was for a bank pad in a shopping center. The attorney had a form, so they did provide their template, and that's a best practice. If you have a template for a lease, a deed, some sort of an agreement, whatever it may be, that you like as a starting point, you could give that template to the freelance lawyer along with the specifications of how they need to customize it for this specific client or this specific deal, and they can work off of that. That is going to get you several steps further towards getting you the exact work product you want, and is one of my best practices I'd like to share. Definitely don't hold back on sharing a form, and if you want to have them sign something saying that they won't steal it from you, you can require them to sign that as well. We see a lot of CC&Rs come through the site for different commercial projects. Of course, we also see residential deed preparation at a very affordable price point, a couple $100. And also we've seen people turn to our freelancers to help paper deals when they're doing private mortgage arrangements. So those are a few ideas when it comes to residential. I hope you get the idea that you can go big, you can go small, you can provide your form, you could turn to the marketplace when you don't have a form and you're trying to start fresh with something. These are all great ways to outsource real estate related work. Now, I also realize that some of you may have a litigation component to your real estate practice. So let's talk about that. I would say if I had to estimate, it's hard to pull the numbers on it because it's so subjective, but I would say about 65% of the work we see on our site is litigation based, about 35% transactional, but that can fluctuate either way on any given day, week, or month. But on the litigation side, of course, research memos. We see those starting out from a very small flat fee price of maybe $250 for a simple issue to upwards of $3,000 or more if, say, you have a complex issue that needs to be researched in several states or several different counties or something. Of course, helping with discovery. I already made my joke that I don't know any lawyer that likes discovery, and that's true. If you need help preparing discovery requests or responding to discovery that your client has received, that's a great thing to delegate to the freelance lawyer and free up your own time to do other things. We see a ton of different types of motions, meet and confer letters, motions for summary judgment. Any type of written document is something that you can delegate to a freelance lawyer and get it off your to-do list and get that ball rolling to get the work done. Now, if you're headed towards trial, keep in mind that we can be a big help there too. The days leading up to trial can be super hectic. I'm not a trial lawyer, I'm married to one, but I know that the hours seem to just warp out of nowhere and there's never enough time to get ready. And so it's great to have a few more hands on deck to help with those final preparations leading up to trial. Jury instructions, summarizing deposition testimony for impeachment purposes, preparing witness lists and questions. And of course, there's always last minute research issues that come up or motion prep. So there's a lot of different ways to incorporate our freelance lawyers to your trial prep team to make sure you are ready on day one, prepared, and going to do your best possible job. So now, of course, we are here today talking primarily about how you can implement LawClerk and freelance lawyers into your real estate practice, but some of you may have other related practice areas, business, corporate, bankruptcy, I don't know. There's a lot of other related areas. I want to invite you, if you go to our homepage, lawclerk.legal, in the top navy blue banner, you'll see my little handy red arrow there is pointed to attorney resources. If you click on that, we have a lot of, guess what, attorney resources. My favorite thing to highlight is if you go there, we have sample projects by area of law, and we have a packet on real estate specifically. But if you also happen to practice in employment or business or whatever, you could go pull one of those packets to get in-depth details about real projects that have gone through the site for that practice of law. And with these examples, we show you the price paid, we show you the project description, and then we also show you the attorney's review of the work at the completion of the project. So these are another really great way for you to get some other ideas of ways to delegate and get help from freelance lawyers. Now, since I have your attention, I think one of the most important things to keep in mind when it comes to outsourcing is the big question of, can you make money with outsourcing? Too many attorneys view outsourcing as a cost, and it should not be viewed that way. Outsourcing is a revenue center. This is a way for you to drive more profit into your firm. How does that work? Well, the main ethics rule to keep in mind is Model Rule 1.5, which says that an attorney can only bill their client a reasonable market rate for their work. And this extends to the work of freelance lawyers. There's extensive case law, ethics opinions, et cetera on this. If you would like to know more specifically about this topic, visit our site, lawclerk.legal. We have a white paper on the site that goes through the ethics rules and case law specifically for all 50 states, state by state. So you can look up your state, see what the rules are, go cross-reference them, whatever you need to do to make sure that you are comfortable with this. But the moral of the story is that outsourcing to freelance lawyers is a way that solo attorneys and small firms can leverage the time and talent of freelance lawyers the same way that big law has leveraged their hundreds and hundreds of associates for decades to make a ton of money. And this can be a real game changer for solo attorneys and small firms in terms of A, of course, getting more work done, but also B, making more money without having to burn the midnight oil or pull a few more all-nighters. And I think that's a win-win for everyone. So let's do a little math example to show how this would play out. Let's say that you log into your LawClerk account and you hire a freelance lawyer to help revise a commercial lease agreement. Okay, we're gonna go with that. You post the project at $1,000, which may or may not be high depending on how complicated the work is, but for purposes of example, you post the work as a flat fee of $1,000. Our freelancer is still going to keep track of their time. Let's say they come back and report to you that they worked 8.5 hours on that. That gives you the data that you need to charge your client for 8.5 hours of your freelancer's work. Let's say that based on the experience levels let's say that based on the freelancer's experience level, maybe they've been out of school 6 or 7 years, they've practiced in real estate, and your geographic pricing, right? Because you're going to pay a different price for the same type of work in Missouri as you compared to California. So let's say you determine that the reasonable market rate for this particular freelancer and this type of work is $200 per hour. This means you could bill the client 8.5 hours times $200 per hour. You'd bill them $1,700 for the drafting of that agreement. Keeping in mind you paid $1,000 to get the work done, that's still a profit of $700 into your firm. Plus, you're going to have your own time meeting with the client to get the specifics for the deal. Of course, reviewing the freelancer's work before you turn it over to the client to review. So you're going to have your own time on top of this to bill for that work. But what this does is save you 8.5 hours that you're not sitting in front of a computer screen drafting this document, so that you can be working on more complex deals, you can be managing your business, meeting with other potential new clients, etc. This is the power of outsourcing and how it can really help change your firm and help make you more money. So what is one of the big secrets for success when it comes to outsourcing? I think it is our Teams feature. So very early on with LawClerk, some of our top users said, look, this is great. I found some amazing freelancers, but I'd really like to find a way that I could just go back to my top 2 or 3 favorite freelancers on repeat when I have similar types of work. And so what we did was we built this feature called Teams, and it's free. It's within the system. It's super easy to use. You can create within your account your own teams for whatever you want. I'll give you some examples here. Maybe you want to come in and you want to build teams for different practice areas. So like I said, maybe the core of your practice is real estate law, which is why you're watching this video. But maybe you also do some business litigation or some corporate work or some bankruptcy work. You could build a team for each of those areas. And as you find freelancers you like in those areas, you can add them onto the team so that they are ready, sitting on the bench when you need them to help step in and get some work done. So building teams for different practice areas is a really great move to help have the type of talent you need ready when you need it. Another thing to keep in mind is if you really have just a practice specifically focused on real estate, then maybe you want to build teams for different types of skill set, different types of help that you need on a regular basis. So maybe you need a real estate litigation team. Maybe you need a real estate transactions team for the transactional part of your work. Maybe you need a team of just really detailed researchers to go in and be able to research issues and help you find answers. Maybe you need a deed prep team. Whatever it is, hopefully this gives you an idea of the way that if you have different types of tasks or skills that you are routinely relying on, you can build teams for those as you find freelancers that fit those specifications and get really high level of talent. Okay, so a couple more points before we wrap this one up. I want you to know, in case you haven't already, that when you sign up for an account with LawClerk, you will be matched up with what we call a dedicated LawClerk advisor. Your advisor is there to be like a concierge for you. They're there to help hold your hand and guide you through the process of outsourcing and delegating. They're there to help you, figure out pricing your projects, help you narrow down the top candidates. If you're interested in that new subscription program, they can also talk with you about that. But your dedicated LawClerk advisor is a great resource because they work with around 200 other attorneys all over the country. So they see all of the creative ways other lawyers are succeeding with delegation, and they can help coach you based on those so that you also find a great level of success. Also, I don't want you to forget there's no monthly fee. Just to have an account with LawClerk doesn't cost anything, unlike a lot of other services that you may use as an attorney. So there's really no reason why you shouldn't just go ahead and sign up and have your account ready to go when you need some help. And last but not least, for all of our project-based work, we offer a satisfaction guarantee. So if you post an employment agreement or you post a commercial lease, whatever it may be, and you're not completely satisfied, we want to know about it and we want to make it right for you. Whether that means getting your money back to you, turning to someone else in our network to redo the work, whatever it may be, we want to do everything we can to make it right for you, which is why we offer that satisfaction guarantee. And thankfully, out of the thousands and thousands of projects we have go through the site every year, we only have to do something about that satisfaction guarantee in less than 1% of them. So we have a really high success rate, which is why we can offer that guarantee for those few instances where things don't go the way we had hoped. So keep that in mind and don't let those fears hold you back. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you do have questions, I'm happy to answer those, or you can reach out to me directly. I'm ktyler@lawclerk.legal. Of course, if you haven't taken a moment to connect with us on social media, I'd invite you to do that, whether you're a fan of LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, connect with us there. We've got a great YouTube channel as well. If you like to learn by video, check out our YouTube channel because we have a lot of other great video resources there that make it easier for you to figure out the best way to put LawClerk to work for you. All right, folks, I appreciate your time, your talent today, and there's no time like the present to start getting some things off of your to-do list and delegating. Thank you so much.